Let's make a couple of the internet's favorite Korean delights that are deliciously addictive. Hello friends and not yet friends, welcome back to Mary's Test Kitchen, where we make all the delicious things we crave plant-based. Hit the like button if you like that sort of thing, and then start on our hot chicken flavored noodles. You know, this one, except homemade from scratch, so if you can't buy these easily, or you just like to do things the hard way, well, actually, it's going to be very easy. First, ignore how stained this practically brand new non-stick pan is. It literally got this way the third time I used it. Then from the fridge, grab your Korean red pepper paste, aka gochujang, and some seasonings from the pantry. One especially important ingredient is the chicken flavor, which comes from a vegan chicken-style broth cube. I like this one because it's convenient. Another one I like is Better Than Bouillon's vegetarian chicken base. But if you love to make things from scratch, check out my DIY vegan chicken broth powder. Whatever you choose, add the amount of cube or paste or powder that is supposed to make 1 cup of broth, which turns out to be half a cube in this case. Then our other essential ingredient, of course, is the Korean red pepper paste. I want a full tablespoon. Mind you, it looks spicier than it actually is with that bright red color. And it's full of umami fermented soybean flavor. Then 3 tablespoons of water, a half teaspoon of nutritional yeast, which we don't add for nutrition, but for an extra savory Lipton chicken noodle soup-like boost, a 1/4 teaspoon of soy sauce, and a 1/4 teaspoon of sweetness that's going to balance out the spicy heat. But because it's not spicy enough yet, at least compared to the Samyang version, add a 1/4 teaspoon of finely ground Korean red pepper powder, aka gochugaru. Apologies for my not so accurate pronunciation. Add an 1/8 teaspoon each of curry powder, garlic powder, and onion powder. And to make it really taste like you made instant noodles, less instant, an 1/8 teaspoon of MSG crystals. Time to mix things up. Of course, you'll want some noodles. I'm going the ultra convenient route with shirataki noodles that don't need to be cooked, just rinsed, which I'll do off camera. They are super bouncy, and in this particular recipe, but not all recipes, let's be honest, they have a great texture. But of course, you can use any ramen noodles you like. These are your vegan hot chicken flavored noodles, and there are no rules. While these drain, I'll also chop up 1 stalk of green onion. Optional, but highly recommended. With these 2 things nearby and ready, take your spicy sauce to the stove. Get it up to medium or medium-high and warm it up just until everything looks dissolved and smooth and bubbling. Literally takes a minute or 2, and to me it looks even redder and more dangerous than before. But don't worry, it's safe to throw in your prepared noodles. Stir fry for another minute or 2 so the sauce gets cooked in. And you can also add some sesame oil if you like I like. When the excess liquid is evaporated and it looks like this, you can plate it. And because the Samyang version has a little bit of nori confetti, I'm going to snip some from a sheet. Add some toasted sesame seeds, and finish with the green stuff we chopped earlier. It's so delicious, especially with the green onions adding the perfect contrast to the savory, spicy noodles. Guys, it tastes just like the original, not the 2 times spicy one though, although you could go there with some hot chili oil. But this is perfect for me, the perfect amount of heat, slightly challenging, which can be helped with some pickled daikon slices. I just bought these at the Korean grocery store, but they are easily made at home too. Lots of tutorials here on YouTube, but if you want me to do one, please let me know. Like I said before, regular ramen noodles are great in this dish, but this recipe is especially good for shirataki noodles, keeping things on the low-carb side, which is good for me personally. Not quite a meal, but it easily could be, right? What would you add to make this a real meal? Let me know in the comments below. In the meantime, I'll just enjoy this super delicious snack. Speaking of super delicious snacks, I have been dreaming of these. Korean corn dogs. They are different from regular corn dogs, and they don't actually contain any corn. Very crispy, lots of texture, but also tender and soft on the inside of this crust. Sorry to my low-carb friends, this one isn't super friendly, but if you want to see that version, of course let me know, because I am myself thinking of trying to do it. On the very inside of this, maybe there is a hot dog, maybe there is melty cheese, maybe there is both. You'll see, but first we must make the batter. To start, measure out 75 milliliters of plain soy milk. That's about a 1/3 cup. and warm it up to somewhere in the neighborhood of 105 to 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Separately, combine 50 grams of all-purpose flour or bread flour, which is about 6 tablespoons, a half teaspoon of instant yeast, and a quarter teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of sugar or a 1-to-1 sweetener of your choice. Then mix it all together. Make a little well and pour in your warm milk. Stir it and eventually you'll form this thick batter. Now, you can cover it and leave it in a warm place for at least a half an hour, but ideally a whole hour so the yeast can do its thing. During this time, you can assemble the dog of your corn dog, starting with getting your skewers ready. I'm just going to trim these so they'll fit better in my pan later. Then grab your fillings from the fridge. I'm going to use some vegan block-style cheese and my favorite store-bought vegan frankfurters from Field Roast. If you want to make some vegan hot dogs from scratch though, check out my scallion seitan sausages. So good and easy to make, they have been a favorite on my website for years. Anyways, back to the franks at hand. They are kinda long. My pan is not that wide, so I'll cut it into thirds. And for the other half of my corn dogs, cut the block of vegan cheese into sticks to match. Then put them together with the skewers. Put these in the fridge for now, and then when the time on your batter is almost up, get a few other things ready. You're gonna need a cup of panko, or well, maybe only half a cup, you'll see. There's gonna be a bit left over, but better to have too much than too little, I always say. And optionally, but highly recommended, cover another plate with frozen hash browns. This cubed kind. It's gonna add additional potato deliciousness to our cornless corn dogs. And of course, the oil to fry them. I'm using canola because, well, frankly, it's affordable. And it has a neutral flavor and it's good for frying so long as you don't accidentally overheat it. You want enough that it's going to reach at least halfway, if not fully over the corn dogs when you put them in, but leave enough space in the pan for bubbling and such. Also, get a cooling rack ready, line it with paper towel, and get any utensils you need. You want to be completely set up before you get started. Since it takes a few minutes for the oil to come to temperature, I'm going to get it started over medium heat. Then, just to the side so I can monitor everything that's going on, it's time to batter up these bad boys. First, stir up the batter and you can see the gluten has developed with this stretchy consistency. I find it easiest just to lean the bowl over to one side and roll it up. Cover every bit of the frank and cheese, the cheese especially, and even things out. Use a silicone spatula to help. Then roll in the hash browns. And the panko. Make sure to fully cover that. Then our first prepared Korean corn dog can relax while we continue with the rest. Finally, the dogs are coated and the oil is ready. I actually love this new induction stove that I just got because it can hold a temperature steady. Anyways, you want this oil to be between 350 and 375 degrees Fahrenheit. On the higher side of that spectrum actually, because once we put in the corn dogs, the temperature will drop. You can cook these one at a time, which will give you more control. But I am filming a video on a time crunch, so they all go in. As they start getting golden on one side, ever so carefully but assertively, use tongs to turn them so they can get evenly fried. I don't really like to grip them on the dog itself because it's still quite delicate at this point, so I try to turn using the skewer if I can. But sometimes you can't and you just go gently. That's fine too. This one looks done, and remember they will get a little darker after you move them, so I'll take this to the rack and sprinkle a bit of sweetness. Sugar or sweetener that you like. Don't skip it though. The sweet and savory contrast really makes the Korean corn dogs quite special. They are so crispy. Just listen to that. And this cheese. My friends, vegan cheese has come a long way, don't you think? Eating our way to my favorite vegan hot dog. It's hot, it's tender, and delicious. The hash browns on the outside give that impression of eating fries with it without having had to make fries separately. My word, it's quite an efficient snack. I really hope you give these a try, maybe put your own spin on them. What would you put on your vegan Korean corn dogs? Please let me know in the comments below. And that's it for today's fun food Korean recipes made vegan. Please let me know which one you liked best. Plus, if you have any requests, please let me know with the hashtag recipe request so I can see them easily, especially if it's something from scratch. Those are my favorites recently. And by the way, if you were interested in more Korean fun food recipes, I already do have my version of Korean fried chicken and Korean six-sided garlic bread, which was, oh my gosh, such an indulgent treat. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit that thumbs up button if you liked the video and subscribe for more delightful vegan recipes. Bye for now.